Special pressure cooking?
So it's always tender and juicy.
Looks like you've learned to make great chicken.
Only way to serve our customers right.
It's so nice to live, so good about a meal, so good about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Howdy folks, I'm Colonel Sanders and you're not. Chances are, if you're watching this particular video right now, you've been following the entire series about the recipe, all the information I know about it, and how much that has changed over the year. What I can tell you is between 99X and Kentucky Fried Chicken, we have sage, allspice, red pepper, coriander, white pepper, black pepper, garlic powder. Salt and MSG are not part of the 11. So that only gives us 7 ingredients. There's a video on Mary & Kay spices that I showed you already, and if you want to see that, you're going to have to go back in the other videos and watch it, because that's where all of it's sourced, and I'm going to put this in the playlist that has that information. He talks about cinnamon and ginger being good spices from Mary & Kay spices. Doesn't necessarily mean it's in 99X, but he's talking about it. So you can speculate those being in there, and that would give you 9. So, I've been saying nobody has it, and then the story came out that one of my cousins might have it. I don't know if they do or not, but I have talked with them about the public ingredients that we found, and they confirmed each and every one that we found publicly except for cinnamon and ginger. They did not comment on those, but they commented on the other ones that are public domain on the FDA required public listings on packaging meant to go out to public foods. And over the years, between the 60s and now, those labelings have changed. FDA requires anything with garlic to be listed. Kentucky Fried Chicken shows for a fact garlic powder on their 2020 packaging, and I assume that's still on there today because it's legally required. 99X does not show it. Because of that fact alone right there shows you the undoubtable difference between the two, even though they were made by the same guy. And they're similar. Garlic powder is in Kentucky Fried Chicken. It is not in 99X. That's the only difference we know. Now, allspice, sage, and red pepper, and coriander could not be in Kentucky Fried Chicken. And they could be. I think they are, but they also could not be, because the owner of Mary & Kay said that they are different recipes, similar in nature, but different. But by him saying that, that's not confirming or denying those ingredients being in KFC's recipe or not. By him saying that, I can say, okay, so what's similar? White pepper and black pepper, salt, and MSG are also recorded on Kentucky Fried Chicken's public listings. We know those are the same. Anything else is fair game. You can't convince me allspice isn't in it. I think coriander's in it. I think red pepper's in it. I think it's a little bit of it. Sage definitely has to be in it. It's listed in his autobiography. He mentions it. He also mentions summer savory, but there's no documentation other than his book that mentions that. And even at that, he's not mentioning it in the recipe. He's just saying they're good ingredients you can use anywhere. So that's a hint towards it. So you got to understand, separate the facts, the 7 facts, from speculation and guessing. And when we get to the 7 facts, my cousins confirmed the 7 that we have. Can't really deny them because they're there in public domain anyways. But they did not speak on anything else. And that's what I always tell everyone as well. If it's not in public domain, I'm not going to speak on it. Because it just adds to the speculation. I want everything to be as factual as possible. I made it confusing on purpose because I want people to lose interest in it, because I'm tired of being asked this question if we have the recipe. Doesn't matter what I say, people don't believe it. But those 7 ingredients are facts. They're 99X and Kentucky Fried Chicken. The only known difference, 100% known difference, because of the legal requirements, is garlic powder is in KFC. Garlic powder is not in 99X. So the only thing we know for a fact, because of that legal requirement, that's what we know is different. It's entirely possible that he gave him 10 herbs and spices and left the 11th out. He wanted to convince KFC to use Mary & Kay to supply it, but they didn't want to use Mary & Kay. So, this is all the information that I have, and I have sourced it all. It's in the Discord, it's in these playlists, it's on this channel, it's on TikTok, it's on Instagram. We cover all the public domain things that Kentucky Fried Chicken has hinted towards. They've given us images, drawings, hints, the FDA requirements, just everything that is out there, we have studied it. And when you want to eliminate any questionable information and you only want the things that cannot be doubted, you end up with 7 ingredients with no measurements, no resources of where those ingredients originated from. You just have those 7 ingredients that you know about because they are publicly on the listings between the 60s and now, and that listing has changed. 99X doesn't contain allspice or red pepper on the back of their packaging anymore like they used to in the 90s. That's replaced with coriander. But because of that little thing, I add the 90s listing and the current listing, and then I add that to Kentucky Fried Chicken's listing. They do have similarities in their public information, and they do have differences. And again, I know I'm repeating myself. The only difference we know for a fact is garlic powder. Maybe you could take 99X and add garlic powder to it. Who knows? I don't know. Point being, I proved Joe Ledington, my step-cousin's recipe, to be wrong. He insisted that it was the recipe. He insisted it was the Colonel's handwriting and that it was the recipe given to the family by him to be entrusted. I held the Colonel's handwriting up in a video next to his handwriting, next to that recipe Joe Ledington had. 2 completely different handwritings. Number 4, oregano was spelled wrong. He add salt as one of the 11 ingredients, and it cannot be added. Fact, Colonel Sanders said that he added salt to the mix after the mix was made. After the 11 was mixed, he'd add salt to it. Joe Ledington's recipe has 10 herbs and spices and salt. He does not have 11. He has 10 and then salt, which is technically a mineral. It's flavorful, but it's a mineral. So that, the misspell on number 4, salt as one of the ingredients, and the handwriting, those 3 have disproved his story about that recipe. Period. My cousins that say they might have it, that confirm the 7 ingredients, have not shown me anything. They have not gone public. They have not gone to the news and shared what they have because they don't want any trouble and they don't want any attention for it. It's going to stay with them until the day that they're gone, and then it's truly gone out of anybody in this family's hands because it ain't getting handed down if they have it. Other cousins of mine, or other step cousins that claim to have it, also refuse to share any information that they have about it, which makes me skeptical. They won't even confirm or deny ingredients that I found in public domain. Now, when I would leak a fake recipe for fun, they would come forward and say, oh, that is totally fake. Not the cousins that confirmed the 7 for me. They ignored those. But the other step cousins, they straight out said, oh, that's fake. That's really fake. Okay. So here's the 7 I found through public domain. And I released that because it's public domain. And I'm tired of people saying it's on the internet. The whole thing's out there. This is what the whole thing is. No, okay, here's the factual stuff that we have. Compare that to yours, and then tell me if it matches. They were silent. The same people that told me that the other ones were obvious fakes were absolutely silent when I released those. That can mean one of 2 things. That can mean that I am right, and they are keeping their mouth shut because they're shocked at how close I got. Or they're wrong, but they don't want to be called out for being wrong, so they just decided to drop it, which is fine. I'd rather that happen than continue a lie like Joe Ledington has been doing. So, anyways, we made several videos about this recipe, and there's an entire series about it. I'd like to end the series. Unfortunately, this is something I'm always going to be asked about. But I'm hoping YouTube does its thing, and people see the videos that are already out there, study them up and down, left and right, instead of me having to continuously make the same video over and over again, telling people what public information that there is. So I hope YouTube leeches on to this particular video and the playlist that it's in, and somebody goes down a rabbit hole and decides to binge watch this entire series. You got to know when I'm joking. You got to know when I'm trying to mislead you, and you got to know when it's factual, and you got to pay attention to how I say things. Like I said, it's a secret recipe. It does not matter what it is. It does not matter who actually has it and who doesn't. It's a secret that nobody is ever going to get. The only things that we're ever going to get is what is public domain already. And why am I talking about the public domain things? It's because I'm tired of the people pretending to have it. I'm tired of people pretending to have it and holding it up above others' heads, acting like they're better than them because they have this big secret that the king of fried chicken had. I'm tired of it. So we look at what's actually public, somebody from the family confirms what's actually public, shows you how it is true, disproves the fake ones, and then we could quit speculating about it and just focus on what we have as fact. You can have those 7 ingredients, make up your own measurements, and create your own recipe based off of those 7 ingredients. Salt and MSG will make it 13. And that is all we know. So, as Bill O'Reilly says, this is the no spin zone. This particular video is the no spin zone. We're not spinning anybody around in this video. I explained everything, and now it's up to you to do your research. You're more than welcome to come back in this comment section and tell me what you find. But I'm telling you, any full 11 recipe, no matter who it's from, with measurements is fake, because there's no way anybody can figure that out. Ciao.